Gorgeous. I hope you're feeling well and at a comfortable temperature and not extremely hot. I forgot to change the setting on my little air machine. Alas, I have been pumping hot air into an already hot room for quite some time. Now, if you are yet to encounter the deep, sultry rumbles that occur within Geoff Castellucci's vocal tract, then it's gonna be a big day. This is not one, not two, not three, but allegedly 4 Geoffs to produce one Geoff Gantic, Geoff Normus, Geoff Sembly. Last minute hydration. It's good. Wow. Straight out the gate. It was really smart how he introduced this piece with a bit of a violin. Violins have very high frequencies. We're floating away on this lovely romantic violin melody. But Geoff's like, because if you don't drop something, how can it fall? Carpeted shoulder Geoff could have a real impact there, and then the violins just left. They were too intimidated by babyface Geoff and his visible biceps. He did kind of a similar melody that the violin did up there, but down here. Sorry. It's minor and sad, yet strong and Western. It doesn't have any like... And that's because it is in a key called G natural minor. So there are 3 minor key flavors to choose from, like Neapolitan, but that's also a scale actually that could get confusing. Anyway, the natural minor scale is the one that has the minor pentatonic scale living inside it. Are we getting bored of the do's? And as you might have heard, pentatonic scales are really important for pop melody writing. It's just a set of 5 notes that you can sing in any order, anytime, and have something cool and catchy. And you can just go around that pentatonic scale and you never need to worry about it. You don't have to deviate, and if you do deviate, it's gonna be a special feature. But anyway.
Far over the misty mountains cold, to dungeons deep and caverns old, we must away and break of day to find our long forgotten gold.
One of the first things I noticed is the remarkable presence of overtones that give you such a sweetness. Let's just investigate that situation. It's only when he does certain vowels. For example, far over, because that bunching up of the tongue in that nice American R sound, the overtones just sort of naturally pop out. I'll just show you.
Far over the misty mountains cold.
When he sang over and cold, when it is in the words in between, it kind of all gets a little bit blurry, but here is very, very prevalent. And now when we look over here at a American English vowel chart, so cool! We can see that darker vowels such as or have a lower formant. Therefore, when we sing a low vowel like because that formant is so low, it creates a lot of room to have another one very present over the top. So when we perform a vowel such as like Geoff does here. You see, there's a huge space in the frequency spectrum that would allow a little E to emerge over the top. We're not going to get those defined overtones on me because that vowel is already bright, so it has nowhere to go. If we want to get overtones on the word Misty, we're going to have to figure out a way to darken it. But yeah, he's always full of surprises and costumes. Got a full-on facial hair wig collection. I want one.
We must away.
It's a really nice chord. I think it's that. It's really hard to pick out the individual notes because it's so low and there's not that much frequency there. It's harder to tell what it is, but that's what's making this so special, is because all of the frequencies are so low. We're just like shimmying in the sand at the bottom of the ocean, like those deep sea creatures. Rather than a major chord with the root in the bass, which is what we usually expect, like a... It's got the fifth in the bass, which makes it sound like this. So it's still major, but there's something else about it which is mysterious. A golden note with a capital G. He has got very, very good at coordinating his vocal folds to come together at a super, super low speed. Now, all of us can achieve notes lower than we can imagine if we utilize some subharmonic techniques that I've talked about before, but I'll talk a little bit about today at some point. When you're trying to achieve notes as low as this, you mustn't think about controlling your vocal folds to come together very slowly. You need to arrange the space inside your vocal tract to make sure that it is open enough so that the voice can actually move, but restricted enough so that the vocal folds can tighten a little bit and enable you to access your low notes via fry.
The pines were roaring.
Oh, nice. I love that wind. Oh, and so it is. Oh, and it's moaning more now. Very beautiful.
The fire was red, it flaming spread. The trees like torches blazed with light.
There's so many bloody things to talk about. Oh my god. I do love a good bit of Foley, and the wind was... I love how it went from just being sort of a shh
The pines were
to when he started to say about it moaning, it did moan a little bit. It was like...
in the night.
And then it sort of started to develop a little bit of a pitch. It sort of transitioned from just a wind sound to really nice airy synthetic melody.
With light.
It's got a lovely sort of organic rhythm section consisting of like a thump and a slap.
Trees like torches.
With a nice sort of natural reverb on it. If you want to do good low rhythmic humming as it suggests here, then you need to have a little look at Geoff's luscious lips. The pouty trick, haven't named it yet, brings the resonance much more forward and you get a warmer, richer sound. As he's talking about fire, he's getting a little bit more creative with the vocal arrangement to try and represent that.
The fire was red.
So the bearded Geoff sort of suddenly changed what they were doing from like a, you know, those warm low hums to it just sort of injected a little bit of sparkle and you could really see that sort of fire being ignited. That was cool.
Blazed with light.
Blazed in light. When we're doing blazed in light, the vowels are very high and the notes are, well, they're not high, but they're high for him because we're talking about light, you know. Ah, his strings are back. Steady on.
Something silent crept beneath.
Oh, snap. Can feel my brain just sort of spreading apart. That's probably not what I can feel. It's probably goosebumps of the scalp. There's a lovely repetitive staccato cello. It's got the minor third in there, I think. It's sort of lots of G's, but also with that dash of threat from the minor third. And it's really keeping it driving. Ah, and here the vocal arrangement on wind, there was like a whoosh.
The wind was on.
Like a gust of wind. Ooh, pretty. And now we've got goatee Geoff giving us a higher harmony, which is quite refreshing.
The withered heath.
And because he must have known that he wanted the withered heath harmonized, he didn't slide the like he has done in other instances of that melody.
The withered.
He had to do the, and it did create a lovely little lilt, didn't it? Carpet shoulder Geoff is looking at dagger Geoff like...
Of all of the Geoffs we could have given the dagger as a prop to, we chose goatee Geoff. Oh, you know he's a liability, look at him.
On the word lay.
The shadows lay.
It's an acoustical work of art. Because his vocal folds are coming together now at such a low speed, you can hear the pops coming through his voice where he started to really enter pulse register or fry. And fry is when these kinds of sounds emerge, and our most lowest notes will always be somewhere in this register. It will be an organization of space in this register. So as I mentioned, you need some kind of resistance to make sure your vocal folds don't just flap apart and produce a pitchless fry. So a really good way to access your subharmonics and find your fry is to sing a note that is kind of mid in your range. You're going to see if you can take that oscillation over with fry. And once you've found that tight sort of fry sound, then see if you can relax. This space design is so nuanced and it's going to be slightly different for everyone, so you really just have to feel it. And when you do get it, I would just advise to see if you can blueprint at that moment the vowel you used, the note you used, so that you can re-enter it anytime you like. Oh, I can feel it everywhere. Ah! Ah! Is it blue?
May fall. We must away at break of day. Far over wood and mountain tall. We must away. Must away. Before the break of day.
Oh, that's it, drink your mead. So tingly, they're still there. I feel like I need to get them out. That was absolutely stunning. I love that in his lead melody, he goes from like really clean phonation, really strong, pure notes, to notes with a little bit more crackle in them, a little bit more pulse. Because he has obviously trained his like subharmonic pulse register so much, it might emerge in his singing voice naturally.
Break of day.
I don't know, maybe it's like a little bit of vocal tract foreshadowing or like pre-preparation for that note. that need not be named. It needs to be looked at though. Alright. It would be impossible to produce that sound without those pops, because those pops are literally the acoustic display of the vocal folds separating and closing again. Geoff has won the low note game because we can't even really hear anything much lower than that. You'd have to be a dog or a whale. Once you have produced a note out of the human larynx that is only just audible for the human ear, everything else just sort of fades away. The man, the myth, the laryngeal legend, Geoff. The hype is valid. Let's read out today's oracle card. Don't you dare stop now. You will revive after you survive. Do whatever the you need to do right now to keep going. Stop the world. You got this. Just believe in yourself. You can do anything. I mean, if Geoff hadn't believed in himself, maybe he wouldn't have pushed the boundaries of the human voice in the way that he did. Dream, believe, achieve. Maybe you will even be able to produce notes lower than we can hear. No one will be able to confirm that. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with me today and enjoying this beautiful piece of music. I really hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it. If there are any singers you would like to see me analyse, then please do let me know down below in the comment section of this video or any video on the channel. Or you can come and join our Patreon where you can vote for the requests that you make, and I will do a celebratory chair spin in your honour. You won't know, but I will do one. If you're here with me at the premiere, then a ginormous premiere hug for you, and another ginormous hug if you happen to be watching this at any other time. Thank you so much for coming. I love you loads. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. Mwah. Bye! Let's see if I have a string sound here. Oh, I do! No, not that. Oh my god, there's a jazz scat button. Okay, I'm gonna use this. Just kind of like bobbing around. That's my best pitched wind impression. Where the barnacles has it gone? Oh, it's here. Really beautiful way to be lured into his low laryngeal layer. Lustrous, low, bodacious bass